Yay, we're recording. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Um, as usual, so excited. Um, Tuesdays are like my favorite day of the week, and I know many of yours. Not only because we have this awesome Zoom where you guys get tons of awesome information from different 200Ks, but because it's payday. Who doesn't love payday? And um, it never gets old, does it? Never gets old. Every single week when our account gets loaded, whether it's $5 or $5,000, whatever it is for you, it is never um, something that just I'm not just sitting back and so grateful for, because it's like, wow, we get this extra cash put in our account to help with gas or groceries, and not everybody has that. So, and we also have this awesome gift that we can offer people that I think is just incredible. Um, Hold on one second. Before I bring my guests on, I'm going to make sure that I hit the mute button on everyone so that so that we're not getting a ton of background noise. Okay, there we go. So as usual, I am overly excited because I have a special guest on today. 200K in the company that I don't know her story. I love it when I don't know someone's story. And I love getting to hear new stories, because there's so many 200Ks in this company. Like, I don't run out of people to, I was just saying last week, I never run out of people to interview, because there's always a new 200K popping up. And what that means for all of you guys is that you're in the right place at the right time with a company that really anybody can reach the top of. And that's exciting when you don't run out of people to interview. There's always a new face on here. And I'm always so grateful when I get to interview somebody that's not on my team, because it's not always like that in companies. A lot of companies, people will not help you, or they won't, I'm not doing that call if I'm not making any money off of those people. And what I love about Lavelle is every single 200K that I've asked to be part of this call, on my team or not, has graciously said yes. And every single week we get the best golden nuggets, and we get to hear people's journeys and realize, wow, they're like me. They're just like me. Like, they're in the same spot I am. And if they can do it, I can too. And this week is going to be no exception. Ashley, I think you did unmute yourself. I've got Ashley Wilhelm on this week. And Ashley, I wanted to kind of jump right in and not waste any time. And I kind of want everybody to get to know who you are, um, just as a whole. What were you doing before you found network marketing? Like, before you got involved in any kind of side business, what were you doing? And then is like Lavelle your first network marketing company, or did you do any kind of network marketing or home-based business before Lavelle? And then how did you find Lavelle? And we'll go from there. I think you're muted, Ashley.
Okay.
There you are.
It disconnected me. It disconnected me right as you started to tell me the nuts and bolts of what you wanted me to cover. But I think I got the bulk of it. So if I missed something, just jump right in and tell me.
No, you're good. I just want to start. I think you probably got what I said. I just want to start, like, what were you doing before network marketing? And then kind of how did you find network marketing? And we'll go from there.
Awesome. Lisa, thanks so much for asking me to be on. Guys, Lisa is someone who's, breadcrumbs of excellence I love to follow. And I was just having fun perusing through who was on the Zoom, and I see so many faces that I love your content. I love to follow you guys. So it's such an honor to be on here. So Tuesdays, great time to do these Zooms because it is already such a fun day of the week with it being Payday Tuesday. Just to get into it, guys, I was a public educator for 14 years. Middle school language arts. When I tell people I was 7th grade, they always look at me like, what? How did you survive that? And then I give them a double whammy and tell them, oh, by the way, I was English. So for 14 years, I had the privilege of creating content and mentoring young minds. And I've been able to take a lot of those skills and put that skill set into action with my network marketing business. I was not looking to build any type of side income, guys, whenever Lavelle found me. I tell people all the time, I am a completely accidental entrepreneur. Guys, I did not have a growth mindset whatsoever. In public education, you're in the classroom, you're doing what you know to do. There's not really any pay increases unless you're going back and increasing degrees. And I had it in my mind that I was going to teach for 15 years and then I was going to go into administration for 15 years. I had everything planned out with a neat and tidy bow. I think I think back to that and I just laugh because somebody had different plans for me. And the reason I say that is because I understood so much, even though I was working full time and making decent money, because in Pennsylvania teachers do, but I understood what it felt like to live paycheck to paycheck. Guys, we had went through with my husband 2 back-to-back job layoffs. And when the second one happened, I watched our entire nest egg, our entire savings account just dwindle, dwindle, dwindle. And we were starting to get to the point where my husband sat down with me and said, we may want to look at downsizing our home, Ashley. And guys, I just have to tell you, I would make cuts in everything financially in my life, but my beautiful home was not something that I ever wanted to have to throw in the towel on, right? We weren't behind on payments. We weren't in foreclosure or anything, but my husband was looking ahead at what could potentially happen. And so I started praying. I probably prayed the same prayer for 2 years for our Lord to bring something into my life that would allow me to use my gifts and talents of helping other people and just provide more flexibility for my family. And I have to tell you, it was my husband who always had the entrepreneurial mindset. He had tried different businesses through the years, never in network marketing, but some things that would make a little money, and then he'd drop off and then he'd try something else. I just always had that fixed mindset of I have a piece of paper that says I'm supposed to be in public education. That's what I'm going to do. Years back, I had dabbled just a little bit with a skincare and cosmetics company. I mean, if I'm being honest, I wanted the 50% discount, okay? I did not like going to in-person meetings once a week. I did not want to stock inventory. I was horrible at getting referrals and then calling them up and doing those cold calls. It just wasn't for me. But what I will tell you is it didn't ruin me from direct sales. I learned a lot from those ladies with that particular company, and I knew that there was power behind direct sales. I was watching them succeed. I had seen other friends in my life, other teaching colleagues that had propelled ahead with different companies like 31. So I knew that there was potential in direct sales, but I had never ever, as many times as I had been approached, guys, I never found a product that really, really moved me, that really made me say, oh my gosh, that's something that I'm going to wake up and probably get incredible messages from people on. So one day I did indeed get a message from a girlfriend of mine. And it was after I had just attended a barbecue at her home and I saw a black label on her arm. And I was curious about it. She was looking great. She had energy. And I asked her about it. And she was so wise because she said, I'll just give you a call tomorrow. And I have to tell you guys, when she called me, she was so brutally, brutally honest. She, had said to me, she was a stay-at-home mom and her husband was a bit controlling with the money. And she said, I've been using this product called Thrive secretly for 4 months. And I feel younger. I feel amazing. I have patience with my kiddos. And I think I want to make a business out of it. I'm running for this thing called VIP 1600. I was scared to approach you, Ashley. But since you asked me about my black label, I want to ask you, is this something that you would ever consider doing? And she was so transparent. She said, it sure would mean a lot to me for this bonus I'm running for, and I just need one more promoter. Guys, I thought I was helping her out by clicking the promoter button and scoring a free pack of DFTs because the product was so hard for me to afford at the time. When I say we were living paycheck to paycheck, $100 was a stretch, an extra 100 in our budget for vitamins, and I wasn't sure about how they were going to make me feel. So I get the product in my hand. Within 5 days, I tell people all the time, my theme song could have been Lionel Richie's Dancing on the Ceiling. And people at school saw it. I mean, not that everybody I worked with was crabby, but teachers get pretty stressed out, even when it's not a pandemic, right? And they were saying to me, gosh, you're so positive today. I see even more energy because, I had energy way before Thrive. I was always like a bubble of energy. I would fake it till I made it if I didn't have that energy. And so I fell in love with the product and I called Emily up and I said, what are these VIP things? I think I want to run for them. And I'm just going to tell you right now, guys, I was 7 or 8 days in, and she had done a call with me. We had went over it, but I wasn't interested. I just wanted to see if the product worked for me. I didn't want to be one of those people. You know what I'm talking about. And when it actually kicked in for me, I knew it's time. It's time to share this. And so she just graciously said to me, you're already a promoter. All you have to go out there and do is tell your story. And that's why I tell people this all happened so accidentally for me, because from the beginning, as I was building up a customer base and going for those free accounts and bringing in people, I just loved doing people. It was what I knew how to do as an educator, right? I didn't try and reinvent the wheel. I just treated people as I always did, which was I would pour into them and want the best for them. And so what started happening was I had all of my customers in this little feed together. Oh my gosh, I would never do that today, but I did it 5 years ago. I just hit my 5-year anniversary. So I had all my customers in this feed, and I couldn't look at my phone at school, guys. I mean, I couldn't put a phone in my hand. Middle schoolers love to tell on you. They love to just, tell their parents and tell administration. I couldn't get that phone in my hand if I wanted to. I had to go to the bathroom if I wanted to look at that phone. But what was so fun was at the end of the school day, I would have customers in that feed saying, okay, I love this. I want to do what you do. And they started clicking over. Well, then the camaraderie was so high, I couldn't wait to get out of school every day. I would have these customers that would chit chat with each other and say, I'm going to click over today. How about you? And guys, I was only like a month ahead of most of them. And I had a decision to make. I had every excuse in the book. My son was 2 years old at the time. I was finishing up my master's degree because, again, I was going to go be an administrator, right? I was living the life. I knew what I was going to do. And I had a decision to make. Do I just kind of shove this off and see what happens? Or do I actually learn to be the leader that I know I can be? And so that's really where it all started for me. Like I said, my son was 2, finished up my master's degree. At this point in time, I think my husband had started working again. As I said, we went through those 2 back-to-back job layoffs, unemployment for a while. He went back to school to get another degree, which was luckily paid for, but we were really just kind of holding on just by a shred. We really were. And I just wanted to get the product for free. Little did I know that that first paycheck was going to be, I think, maybe $45. I was ecstatic. I made some type of money. Didn't hit my VIPs. Guys, I want you to know the VIPs are incredible, but they, for me, didn't show me or deter me from where I was going to go with this company. So that's where it all started for me. Like I said, I had dabbled just a tad with direct sales in the past, and I lost a lot of money. I stocked a big inventory for that particular company, and I had a lot of it sitting in my closet. And I think sometimes that would be a reason that would deter people and say, I'm just never going to give direct sales and network marketing a shot again. But for me, I knew there's power here. There's potential here. I just haven't found my people yet, and I haven't found a product yet. So that was how it all started for me, just that true transparency from a friend that I trusted, and just the product really kicking in for me and making me say, I want to go out there and see what happens. I can throw a stone and people don't know about this product. Let's go see what happens. And I will tell you guys, I never hesitated. That's the biggest thing that I see with promoters is they have this hesitation. I was very notorious for, and I still am, for committing to something and just figuring it out later. At lunch break, I would sit in my classroom and feed my mindset. I would plug into calls and stay away from the negativity in the faculty room. It's when I would do my follow-ups with people. I would always get up before my family in the morning and reach out. I was very intentional with my time when I was working full-time. And that is what I would do. I'd get up in the morning, do my reach outs, do my first social media post for the day, lunchtime, fuel my mindset, follow up with people, and I would just plug in where I could. I would make the commitment and I'd figure it out later. You need a call at 6 p.m.? Sure. If I had to put an earbud in when I was giving my 2-year-old a bath, I would do it. I remember Emily calling me one day and said, hey, I want to do an open local. And I said, I don't know what it is, but it sounds really exciting. Let's do it. And at the time, we were just both brand promoters. And I got to tell you guys, I think we planned the open local, and 60 days later, we had it. And from there to the 60 days, we both went from brand promoter to 12K. And we had to keep messaging support and say, hey, can you change the graphic? I went 4K. She went 12K. Oh, no, I went 12K. And we really didn't know what we were doing, but we didn't hesitate. We thought we're going to learn as we go. We're going to basically, I guess, learn as we earn, if you've heard that before. And the big thing that we were doing the whole time along the way, yeah, I was time blocking. I was building up an amazing customer base, but I was also building up an amazing, amazing community. And to this day, people say to me, I've dabbled with other companies, or I was with this company, but I didn't have there what I have with Lavelle or within your team. And when we had that first open local, we had two 200K uplines fly in from Iowa. And they were on their way to an event in New York. There was some awesome signage that was getting revealed. And so they thought, well, let's pop into this East Coast local before we go to New York. And they had said, this is going to be a millionaire network. Like this will be, because you girls have something very, very special here that sometimes we don't see with other teams. And a lot of those original people, they're still with me today, 5 years later. Of course, some aren't. They chatted with me about that too and said, sometimes you're going to lose some people along the way. The people with you at 4K might not be here at 200K. And they were right. But we did create something so beautiful within our community of support that many of those people are here today, Lisa. So that's what I have for now. Direct me on what else you want to know about, because
Well,
I can go on and on,
I kind of
guys.
want to know, and I love that you talked about, I loved a lot of things you talked about so far, but I love that how you talked about how the person that signed you reached out to you, or like how you guys talked and how transparent she was. Because I think sometimes we overthink, how am I going to talk to this person, especially if I'm new? And it's kind of like, just be real with somebody. Like, that totally felt genuine and real to me. I would have totally been like, I'll help you, or I want to do that, like, because she was so transparent. And I also love that you didn't, I mean, I know at the time it probably wasn't fun, but I love that you're transparent that you didn't get your VIP bonuses, because at the end of the day, not everybody gets those bonuses, and it does not dictate whether or not you're going to be successful later on in this company. And I think a lot of people, it's sad to me when I watch people drop out after they don't get those bonuses. Like, I just don't hear from them again, because I think that they think, oh my gosh, that must mean I'm not good at this. That must mean I'm not going to go anywhere. And it's just not the case. There's so many people that I could interview on this Zoom, and that I have interviewed on this Zoom, that I did not get those bonuses that are now 200K. So I love that. But can we talk about, because I know you said you didn't get those bonuses, what was the time frame between each one of your ranks all the way to 200K? About.
Sure, sure. Gosh, we were a fast growing team, guys. Sometimes that is a beautiful thing, and sometimes it can be a scary thing. So I hit 4K. I'll never forget, I hit 4K on Halloween night. I bought my first pack on September 11th of all days. I did. And then October 31st, I hit 4K because we went trick or treating. And when I came back in, someone had bought a final pack that I needed. I hit 4K. 20 days after that, I hit 12K, because I started creating leaders. I started realizing, oh my gosh, I'm tied up at school. I can't do it all. I was always the supplier. I kept supplying every answer. I started directing them on where to look, where to go. And I started really creating leaders. And so 20 days after hitting 4K, we hit 12K. So I hit my 12K in 60 days. I think it was at 5 months in, I hit 40K. It was at 9 months, 8 or 9 months in, I hit 80K. And then wait for it, y'all. It was 17 months in when I hit 200K. I'm certainly not one of those stories where, I went 200K in, 90 days. I patiently built my team. I organically built my team. It took us 17 months. And I want to tell you something so beautiful about that. There were times when I was in such a rush, in such a hurry. And gosh, what mistake haven't I made along the way as a leader? But that's when you get good. That's when you get strong. This sign behind me, guys, something really fun was, as I mentioned, I was getting impatient about hitting 200K. I was in 80K for, 8-9 months. And all of a sudden they released the original rank advancement bonus. And I had the sheer privilege of being in that initial group that earned it for the first time. Had I rushed my way there, that would have never have happened, guys. And we were able to do amazing things with that bonus. That was the first of other ones. So yeah, it was, I think, 8 or 9 months between 80K to 200K.
And that's still so fast. That's still Anybody that goes 200K within 2 years to me is like, okay, you're definitely in the top like 0.5% of people that are going to ever do something like that. Because it does take most people, I always tell people you've got to be on this 5 to 7 year plan of growing a business because it doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't. And anybody that goes fast, to me, fast is if you go within 2 years, that's fast, like super fast. But there's going to be, and you mentioned, you kind of went into this, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper because there are a lot of people on here that are going through things right now, like, and I think that they think if once you hit 200K, it's kind of easy sailing from there. You don't hit these issues. And at the end of the day, we all hit a wall. Some people hit it at the beginning, some people hit their wall in the middle, some people hit a wall every day. There's times where I'm like, am I not going to stop hitting a wall? But everybody's a little bit different and we all go through the same things. And I don't know how transparent you want to be, but what are some of the things? Because like there's people on here right now that they've lost a leg or they're red legged, where they're like, oh my gosh, my business is so heavy right now on this side. Am I ever going to find another person? Or they've lost somebody to another company or a whole leg to another company, or just they missed a bonus or lost a bonus or the million things that can happen. And right now I know there's people on here that are down and out. They're like, oh my gosh, this is what's happening right now in my business. And what if it never goes away? What if I never push through? What if you start doubting yourself and you're like, what if I'm just stuck here forever? What are some of those things that have happened to you over the past 5-6 years that kind of I don't know, like that other people might be going through right now that you had to push through?
Oh, guys, I am as transparent as they come. It's my middle name. I love to tell people the failures that I've experienced along the way because everyone experiences them. And like I said, that's when you get to the good stuff. That's when you get to the growth. That's when you push yourself to rise back up. And I will tell you, yes, there was a time when I lost rank. There was a time when I was 200K for 2 solid years, and all of a sudden I went back down to 80K. That was huge. That was a terrible, terrible blow to my self-esteem, to my confidence. I started speaking really negatively to myself and saying, am I a poor leader? Am I a washed up leader? Like what's going on here? And I will tell you guys some of the things that I feel were mistakes along the way. One of the things was I found myself, even when I had reached 200K and was holding there, I would very often do things from a place of fear. When I was in public education, you always had Big Brother watching you. If I have any teachers on the line, you'll know what I mean. I mean, you always felt like I better get this done or else I'm in trouble. I have to do this or else this, repercussion can happen to me or may happen to me. So there were times when I know I was going through the motions of what I needed to do for my business, but I was doing it from a place of fear. And teammates sensed that. They sensed it. They're going to take on your energy. I don't know if they would sense it in my voice in calls during my weekly calls or during lives, but I I think it was when I made the decision. Here's the thing, guys. I made the decision to leave public education and work my business full time. And I can see where people go through midlife crises because I had to figure out almost my sense of identity again. Who am I? I was known as Ashley the teacher, a beloved teacher for so long. And now I'm Ashley, a businesswoman, a network marketer. No, that doesn't sound right. And the easiest person to not show up for is yourself. So I had to start setting some new routines for myself so that I wasn't taking spare time and getting in my own mind and thinking, oh my gosh, what if this all goes away? What if it ends tomorrow? What if I have to go back to the classroom and I don't want to do that, right? So I had to sit down and look at what did I do in the beginning when I was excelling? Because along the way, when I lost rank, you better believe I lost some prominent leaders. There were two 40K leaders that, oh, I adored them. When I say I pour into people, I give you my all. Like I will give all of myself to you, probably to the point where I should try to separate the business side from the personal side a little bit more. And one of my 40Ks, she was in her own mind. She was red-legged And she could not get over that. So she quit. She stopped. It devastated me. This was a friend of mine since high school. Another 40K was a couple layers down, couple levels down. And I just want you guys to know, my biggest mentor in this business is 6 levels up from me. So when you have people reaching out to you, I don't care how many levels down they are, I work with them. I got so many surrogate level ones and I just love it. So another 40K leader of mine, she let some other leaders who had left the company get in her mind, and she thought the grass would be greener, and she left too. And that was hard. That was really hard for me. And I think that's when I started working from that place of fear again of, well, what if others leave me? What if this all goes away? So I had to sit down and I had to think, okay, Ashley, what were you doing back in the beginning? I had to take it back to the basics, because here's the thing, guys, the basics of just simply having conversations with people, creating free accounts, and building up that like, know, and trust factor. That's where it is, right? That's where it's at. And through like the course of, I think the first 2-3 years, I think I was overcomplicating things. I used to bring new people in and we just got them rolling, and we were very simplistic with the funnel, and we just got them off and running. And through the time, as I started to see other cloud-based companies popping up and realizing, oh, we're not the first anymore, I started seeing lots of different cool strategies and filters and things that I got in my own head about and thought, well, maybe I should be doing this. And I remember one point having a conversation with someone, and like I said, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I had asked her something about a picture about my little boy, and she said, well, I didn't see it. I stopped following you. And I was like, oh, what? And she was always one of my biggest cheerleaders. And she said, well, I stopped following you when you started looking like everybody else that I was seeing. And I thought, wow, it was just the grounding that I needed, because here's the thing, guys. I've always had a great sense of humor. I've always had a lot of sass. And when I was changing it up and trying to portray a picture perfect image of life and thrive and just people started to lose a sense of value in who I was. Quite frankly, they liked to see me make sarcastic jokes and talk about how the wind was so great it was going to blow me into the wine store. Well, when I started thinking that's what my audience didn't want, I started losing my audience. I started having people saying, I don't really want to follow her because I can't relate to her. So I thought to myself, that single comment, as much as it was a dagger to my heart, I needed to hear that I needed to go back to being authentically me. I needed to stop overcomplicating things and thinking that I had to lead like these other leaders I had seen. I just took it back to the basics of the funnel. And very importantly, guys, I also think I hit a point where I was trying to push teammates towards goals that they weren't ready for. If you've never taken the color personality test, it's so funny. I am such a red, aggressive business person, but in my day-to-day life, I'm like a blue or a yellow. I'm fun, and I like to do fun things, and I can be impulsive at times, but I'm not like that with my business. So sometimes I found myself in a place where I knew I was probably pushing people that weren't ready yet. And I had to find the true meaning behind loving people where they're at. You know, I would say that, but I didn't get it. I'm going to tell you right now, in public education, again, people meet deadlines. They follow up when they say they're going to. They do everything, and they do it like a day early. I was really spoiled with those colleagues. So now here I am in the sales world with, people outside of education, and sometimes they would ghost me. Sometimes they would tell me they were going to, show me something they were doing, and they didn't do it. They just flat out ignored me. So I had to really understand that not everybody has the same goals as me, and I have to be very careful with pushing my goals on other people. And I had to take it back again to the basics. When I started this, I just wanted to make sure that we had an extra honeypot in case, there was a job loss again, that mortgage was going to get paid, that I didn't have to put back things at the grocery store that I wanted. It was never about becoming, a millionaire. It was never about that at the beginning. So I had to take myself back and think, what did I do at the beginning that truly, truly built and grew? So what if I've lost these 2 leaders? I can't let that get in my mind. I know where I'm going, and I know where I'm going to be in 5 years. It's going to be right here with this company. So I stopped working my business from a place of fear. I stopped overcomplicating things and took it back to the basics. I started being authentically myself online again. And I really started just listening to my people. I really started listening to their goals. And if their goal was just that they wanted to be able to cover the groceries all month, that's what we did. I didn't push them to that next rank if they weren't ready for it yet, because chances are they weren't going to maintain it, and then they were just going to be frustrated. So that's a lot of what I had to sit down and get serious about, because it does not matter if you hit 200K, if you hit Lavelle Millionaire. It doesn't matter, guys. You have to get up every single day and say, I'm going to defend this title because it is worth defending. You have to get up every day and make a choice to be consistent, because showing up for yourself is the toughest person to show up for. And again, I had to not let that devastation take over inside of my heart when somebody that I had poured into left, because it's going to happen. It still happens today.
Oh my God, I love all of it. Because, I mean, there's nothing you're not going to run into in 5 years. There's just not anything that somebody else is going through right now that you haven't run into. The only difference is that you've decided, I'm not going to let these things hold me back, or push me down forever. And we all get down. I mean, we all have those thoughts about, maybe it would be easier just to quit. Maybe I'm not going to go any further. Maybe I'm going to stay stuck here forever. Maybe. I mean, we're humans. We're not going to be able to not let those things come into play. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about the comparison thing, because I think that is something that, I don't care who you are, how much money you've made, we all fall into it. And especially with social media, man, I mean, just like you said, people portray these amazing, awesome lives, and, they make their businesses look so great. And the thing is you really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Nobody's going to go on their social media and say, I've lost 200K. Oh, dang it. No, they're going to portray like they're, if they're doing this right, they're portraying they've got $1 million business growing. They're not going to tell everybody when those sad, bad things happen. And they just make assumptions. And it is so hard. I mean, I think about how hard it would be being a teenager in today's society with social media, because I know how hard it is for me as an adult not to compare myself, my business, to other people. What kind of advice do you have? And, how hard has it been for you to not compare yourself to other people in the business point of everything? Because, looking at like an upline or a downline and going, oh my God, they're passing me, or they're going faster. What am I doing wrong? Or look at this sideline. Look how fast they're going. It starts to really mentally kind of get in your head.
It can, guys. It really can. And I've been there. And that's when you have to pick up the phone and ask for help. I feel that some of me losing rank and then having to gain it back again was that I felt like when I hit 200K, I shouldn't have known all the answers, and I shouldn't have had to reach out for help. And again, there was a fear inside of me that if I reach out for help, they're going to think that I don't know what I'm doing, that my team's failing. But I had to pick up the phone and ask for help, and I had to let somebody pour into me. I was taking so much within my own shoulders that it was depleting me, and I wasn't waking up with joy and wanting to work my business. And that was the difference of when I had dropped rank and then worked back up to it. I had to work from a place of joy again. And I realized real quick that when I was scrolling and comparing these beautiful filters and decor, and I'm looking at my crazy curly hair when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking, how does this woman look like this? It's 7 a.m. posting these pictures. It was depleting my joy of working my business. And then guess what? I found out this incredible thing called batch working, y'all, where, hey, when I look good, let's snap a couple pictures. Hey, if social media is bringing me down, I think I'm going to calendar block when I'm going to do my social media post for the day and make some new connections and touch in with some teammates, but then I'm going to get out of Dodge, because I'm not giving myself a fighting chance if I got to get on there and get lost in the scroll and allow myself to be brought down. It's Marie. Oh, what is her last name? It'll come to me after the Zoom. Marie, some of you know who it is. She always says everything is figure outable. And if there's something that's pulling you down in your business and you're looking at, oh my gosh, that person's growing, that person has great content, that person has great pictures, there's always a way for you to figure out how to improve, how to make that a strength, and how to not let it bring you down. Batch working has been huge for me. Creating content and plugging it into my stories, it's been huge for me because social media is a time suck. Scrolling is doing nothing for my business, right? But when I get on there and I'm actually working and being intentional with social media, that's progressing me forward. There's a lot of people on social media, but are you actually working it? If you're getting on there and losing track of time and it's bringing your soul down, you won't grow. So I had to get intentional with how much time I was spending on there. I was going to calendar block when I was on there. And I was just going to worry about me. I was going to worry about me and who I was helping on that given day and who needed me. You know, one of those 40Ks that I mentioned to you that left, she couldn't get over the fact that there was a level 2 leader to me that had hit 200K. And a year ago, they were in the same spot. And she just couldn't get over that. She was at 40K and this person hit 200K. And I watched it get in her mind and destroy her. And it was a terrible thing to see. I believe that leader would be a 200K leader today. So that is a very, very important thing because your mind, it's the most powerful thing you have. If you don't get up and get that straight every day and figure out the things that are bringing it down and then bringing it back up again, you won't see a lot of growth in your business.
I love it that you said that too, because I've watched people compare themselves, oh my gosh, like I've watched people literally let it, especially in the case of a downline passing them, not even watching a sideline come in at the same time, but even somebody underneath of them going faster, and it destroys them. And it really is. I totally believe that thought process of you're not going to go to that next rank until you're ready, like until you're mentally ready. And I think that some people just aren't ready mentally. Like they're living in that place of fear that you keep talking about. And because they're not mentally growing, which kind of brings me into my next question. Mentally growing, I mean, there's probably so much that you have learned from getting involved in this over the last 5 years, and just all the twists and turns and ups and downs. I always think about there's no way I'd be the person I am today without self-development, without diving in and trying to learn and become a better person, and picking up a dang book or listening to an audible, and everybody's a little bit different there. But I think like the fundamentals of having a vision board and writing down those things that you're grateful for, and having some kind of a journal. Like, I really do believe that people need to have some of these basic daily habits, and that's going to really help you in your growth and your developmental mind growth as far as that goes to get to that next place. But I think a lot of people don't give it enough credit. And maybe, when I ask 200Ks, most of them are like, oh, yeah, I definitely have daily routines that I do to, kind of grow myself in my mind, or that I share with other people to do the same, because I want them to be able to get to that place where they can get to that next level. So what kind of things do you like think that everybody on here, whether they're new or whether they've been in forever and they're still refusing to trust and believe that you have to get some of these daily habits down and self-development in your journey somewhere, what do you do?
Oh my gosh, Lisa, it's huge. It's huge. And guys, when I was in the classroom full time, I didn't take care of me. Breakfast was like a Diet Coke and a cinnamon raisin English muffin getting out the door. I didn't even know how much I needed Thrive. And I never poured into myself. All of a sudden, when I started thriving and the mentors above me were sharing with me, what do you do to fuel your mindset? I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what a vision board was. I thought it was all crazy. I thought it was all going to be a waste of time. But what I can tell you is when I was really building my business and working full time, I had to get up before my family. It was when I started to learn this is a quiet place, all of my own, that no one can take away from me. I can knock out business activities, but I can get this right for the day. And I knew if I got up before my family, I could be in a settled, calm, and peaceful place so that no matter what the day brought to me, I could take it on. So my routine now when I get up in the morning looks a little bit different than what it did when I was still teaching, because teaching, I would get up and I would do a devotional, and then I would do reach outs in my first social media post for the day, so I knew I was working in my business. So not a ton of self-care. I put a lot of self-care into lunchtime when I would sit in my classroom for a half an hour and put something on that poured into my mind, whether it was a call or a replay of something or just something inspirational to me on YouTube. Now that I'm out of the classroom and I do this from home, I still get up before my family. It's a great, great habit for me because I just find comfort in having the alone time with no disruptions. I get up and I practice gratitude. I have a journal, guys, where I just simply write down 5 things that have happened in the past 24 hours that I'm so grateful for. And I can tell you, when I sit down and write in that journal, all of a sudden you run out of room. You just start thinking of more things that keep flowing and growing, that you just start running out of room for your page. That's huge for me. So I start with that gratitude before my family's up. I then go into a daily devotional, and then I get a workout in. I need the endorphins. I like to feel strong. I like to feel healthy. I like to feel fit. And I do those things and get my little guy off to school. He gets off to school at 7:03 a.m., totally an early start time for.
Oh, I don't know if we lost you, Ashley. I think we may have lost Ashley. You guys, hold on one second. Let me.
I think I'm back. I don't know
Oh,
what's
you're
going on
back.
with my connection. Yeah,
You're totally
I
back.
know what. I don't know what's going on with my connection. But anyways, I get my little guy off to school at 7:03 a.m. and then that's when I look at my phone. I used to have the most horrible, horrible tendency to just immediately wake up in the morning and look at my phone. And that just took my brain and just scrambled it all up, like this Zoom was when you guys couldn't figure out where I was. So getting up and pouring into yourself a little bit, that's been huge for me. And it's not like that development, you just do it at the beginning of the day and that's it. If I'm cleaning, if I'm working out on my elliptical, I'm putting something on for my mindset. You got to fuel it. You got to fuel it every single day, right? Every single day you have to fuel it, just like you have to fuel activities into your business to produce that income every day. Because if you don't consistently fuel that mindset throughout the course of a day, throughout the course of a week, you're not giving yourself a fighting chance, like I mentioned earlier, because an entrepreneurial's mindset is like a roller coaster every single day. And you've got to do something that grows you personally and lets you do hard stuff. Because if you don't strengthen this up with something in your daily and weekly routine, when the hard stuff gets you, that's when you're not going to feel like rising back up again.
And the other thing I think I think it's harder anyway, is learning how to grow your network. And I can tell by um, you and your energy that you were probably an out and about person like me. Like, COVID has really affected, like it really affected my business in the beginning, because I'm such the type of person that a lot of the people that I meet out and about, I add to social media and then I start building the relationship. And that's how I've kind of built my business. And with COVID, I'm like, okay, I've got to figure out new ways to build through social media, because that's just not happening right now, like, and it's still happening. Like, I still have to go to the grocery store. I still have to, I still wear my DFT where people can see it and they'll ask questions and things like that. But it did get harder. I'm not even going to pretend that it didn't. And so I'm just the type of person that I'm not going to because that's the primary way I built my business. I'm not going to now let something like COVID dictate my success. I'm going to now work around it. And if I have to figure out a new way to recruit, I will do that. And I think so many people get stuck in a certain way. Like, a lot of people come into this business and they think, okay, I've got 300 friends on Facebook. They're going to get me to 200K. And it's usually not your friends and family that get you to 200K, at least not from my experience and not from this call. Every week when I interview 200Ks, they never say, well, it was my, original network that got me all the way here. why I stay here. It's always, strangers, people they didn't even know before this business. And I think a lot of people come in and they're like, okay, I've got people, I'm going to work on these people, they're going to get me to 200K. And that's such a big mistake, because unless you come in with the mindset of, look, I have to grow a new network, and I've got to continue to grow my network, or else this thing is going to die. Because unfortunately, it's network marketing. It's called network marketing. That means you got to constantly network. So build, like, looking through your business, and then over the last 5 years, and then even through, you know, COVID. I mean, how are you continuing to grow your network? And um, was it your friends and family that got you to 200K? Just out of curiosity.
It definitely wasn't my family. My own mother quit on me. No, it wasn't my family. Oh my gosh. Most of my family still doesn't thrive with me. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Let me tell you guys a little something about family. I remember the first time I earned a lifestyle getaway. My family just, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to get blackballed. They couldn't believe I would leave my child and go on this getaway. Now, when something happens with my business, they're just all on board with helping me out with my schedule to make sure things are taken care of, because I had to prove myself as a businesswoman to them. They didn't see me that way. But again, my consistency has made people understand she's not playing, like she's in this for the long run. And because I am so outgoing, because I am a talker and such a nurturer, the bulk of my people, my directs, yeah, I've met them in person. I have some direct connection with them. And then the bulk of my other directs, the other 50%, are people that, just as Lisa said, I didn't know them. They were referrals. They were a friend of a friend. Maybe that person doesn't even, thrive anymore, but all of a sudden their friend's 12K to me. So, I would say it's half and half with who I meet in person versus who is brought in as referrals or who I'm meeting online. So it is tough. It was tough, and still remains tough for me to not be able to get out quite as much, because I'm at my happiest and thrive the most when I'm with other people. We're human beings. We're meant to connect with people. And so what I started doing was, specifically during COVID, I really started looking back at my customer base, my social media friends, and just people that I hadn't connected with, even if they were former thrivers, Lisa. I just started reaching out and asking them how they were sincerely doing, asking them how I could pray for them. And it was amazing to me what started to get triggered back up, because I was doing that. I was telling and showing my team that I was doing it, and they started to duplicate it. And I actually, throughout COVID, did not see our numbers decline. Our numbers were starting to rise, because all of a sudden there were a lot of people on my team that had the time to sit back and really show others that they cared and really connect with them. So there were so many people that had thrived with me in the past, and they started thriving again. There were people with me that, I'm going to be so honest, guys, I reached out to them and said, I know you promoted with me like 2 years, 3, 4 years ago, whatever it was. Man, I didn't know what I was doing back then. And you still buy the product. Would you be willing to give this a shot again? Because I sure have learned some things along the way. And there were people that I brought back. I didn't, throughout COVID, always focus on new. I thought, who can I regain? Who can I reestablish connections with? Because sometimes I think we work so hard to make connections with people, and then they buy the product or they click the promoter button, and all of a sudden we think, oh, great, got them. Now we're off to the next person. And that just simply can't be the way that it is. So I was still in people and meeting new people through groups online during COVID, but I did a whole lot of reconnecting and reevaluating things with existing people in my customer base as well, Lisa.
I can't, it's like so crazy how many 200Ks, and even on my own team and myself, have said the same thing, that there's so many people that have come back or that they've reconnected with, and you're so right. Like, when I look back on my business and how fast it grew at times, or, just on how I dropped the ball with people, like,
Yeah.
wow, how much more I know. It's such a true statement. And it's, why not? Like, what do you have to lose by reaching out to people that joined you in the past and saying, look, blame it on yourself. I didn't know what I was doing then, but I know so much more now. I know you were interested at one point. There's so many amazing things happening with Thrive. Why don't you take a look at this again? Why don't you revisit it? How about you get started? The worst they're going to say is no. They're already a no. Why not try to see if they might be a yes? And it's so, so huge. And speaking of that, I'm kind of going backwards a little bit, but in the beginning of your business, you said a lot about you were kind of, I think what all of us say is we were ignorance on fire. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. I still don't. I've been in this now 4 years. I celebrated 4 years. I celebrate 4 years on the 15th. It's so crazy. And I still don't know the ingredients. Like, I don't know this stuff. I'm like, go make a free account. You can go look yourself. Like, I don't know. People ask me the pricing of, like, if you ask me right now what the pricing of pretty much any of our products are, I would have to go look. Okay. That's not my jam. I just am excited. I don't let those little teeny intricacies hold me back. I don't, and a lot of people do. There are so many people on here. You talked about color personalities, that they are green, or they fall into the management mode, or they totally get in this place of, oh my gosh, I don't know enough yet. I can't talk to people because I don't want to feel stupid, or I need to have all the answers. When you look back, and even with your team right now and in the beginning, are you guys big with third party credibility as far as, like, do you do a lot of three-way messages or calls, or do you use like things from the fan page, or is that not even big with you guys?
It's the biggest thing on my team because it's how I was brought in, Lisa. When I was brought in, it was three-way call, three-way call, three-way call. We've relaxed on that a little bit. We do a lot of three-way messages because it would hurt my heart when I would have people say, well, now they don't want to buy because they don't want to get on the phone. And so we started doing three-way messages, and it's a 50-50 mix of both. I don't think I get on and say anything magical, but I always tell people you've got to really listen. You have to figure out why they need the product. What are their pain points? Fill me in, bring me in. I can connect with them. And that little bit of validation and understanding from someone else that they can connect to, it helps. It helps greatly because if it's a brand new promoter, they don't have the confidence yet. They need to borrow your confidence. They might be bringing somebody to you that doesn't have confidence in them yet, like my friends and family were, because I was a teacher. What did I know about nutrition, right? So we are huge on validation within my team. And I think that we're so huge on it because I was brought in that way, guys, with the three-way messages, the three-way calls specifically. And so that is what my team has learned to duplicate. However you are brought in, however you bring someone in, that is what they will duplicate. And it's honestly why we've built such a strong community, because if someone brings to me a customer, a potential for validation, and then all of a sudden 3 months later they click over and use the product, they already feel a connection with me. They've already added me to their social media. They're already commenting back and forth with me on things on social media, and they already feel like they're a part of a community, that they are not just a number. So we're huge on the three-way validation, Lisa.
And people always want to know, what do you do every day to grow your business? Like, income producing activities, because I feel like people get lost in the scroll. I think a lot of people on this very Zoom right now think they're working their business, but they're not really. And it's so easy to get caught up thinking you are working your business because you're on this Zoom right now, right? They're like, I
Yeah.
get on that Zoom every Tuesday. I work my business. I'm on Facebook like 12 hours a day, and I'm constantly chatting and conversing with other thrivers and commenting on their stuff and welcoming this person, and like, I am doing all the things. I wear 10 patches a day, and I know what's in all the products. I know what's going on here. Why the heck ain't my business growing? What are income producing activities that you feel like, okay, I don't care if you are new or if you've been in 50 years, this, you got to do this stuff daily, and this is what produces income? What would your list be?
Well, first of all, I am a huge list maker. I have lists for everything, guys, so that when triple commissions or trip qualifications or whatever it is it's going to hit, I got a list of people that I know I need to contact. So I'm a huge, huge list maker. You have to have some way to control just the data that's coming into you. The other thing too, guys, is for me, every single day, I love 5 4 3 2 1. I know it's not everybody's jam. Find a planner or a list making system that works for you. But for me, I know that the root of my business is I got to swallow the frog and do the things on the 5 4 3 2 1 list that I hate the most. Reach out. Not, I hate doing reach outs, but you have to do them, right? So the reach outs, the follow ups with people, batch working that social media content so that I'm showing up every day in my stories and on social media. That's huge for me. Plugging in every single day for my mindset is huge. And reaching down every single day, every day of the week, I pick a different level that I'm going to make sure I'm reaching out to so that people know I'm there for them. I haven't forgotten them. Whatever they're struggling with, I can get them on a phone call and we can brainstorm some things out. And then I'm going to set up the next time I'm going to talk to them because I want to, give them some accountability. But for me, every single day I wake up and I knock out those 5 4 3 2 1s and I spend some time with my list to give myself an action plan for the day of where I'm going, who am I talking to, who am I reaching out to and following up with today, because I need to always make sure that I am growing my network. And the only way to grow your network is to do the hard stuff. Adding those people every single day is big for me. Building the relationships is big for me. But then the 5 4 3 2 1s are where I sit down and really work on those reach outs and follow ups. So it's nothing earth shattering, guys. I stick to the basics. But if you do them every single day, think of how many new people you've reached out to and had conversations with. If you show up every single day on social media, people know your storefront's open. If you're getting samples out every single day, look at how many lives you've reached with those samples of people who've never heard about the product before. So it's nothing, like I said, groundbreaking that I do, but it's just that I show up consistently every day with the basic strategies. And the biggest thing of all, and this is what I guess for me, I wanted to kind of close out with today. The biggest thing of all is enjoying the journey, guys. There's been too many times over the past 5 years where I've caught myself not stopping, not slowing down to celebrate what I've accomplished. Guys, there was a point when I paid off my mortgage and my husband needed me to slow down and celebrate that achievement. And all I could think about was the next thing I was going to do, the next thing. So stopping and slowing down and enjoying the journey is big for me too, because if you don't have enjoyment with these daily activities, that's another way that I think people become stagnant really, really quickly, Lisa.
I can't even say how much just that last little bit of stuff you just said is so huge, because if you stop having fun doing this, you're doing something wrong. I mean, we get to do something. We all have our life, okay? Before we came into this, that was our life. And Lavelle kind of opened our eyes to kind of hopes and dreams and goals that we never had, or, belief that those goals and dreams could be hit. And I think when we live in this microwave society where if things don't happen right now, so many people get discouraged and they give up and they forget why they started and they forget the excitement. And none of that went away. None of those things went away. It was just the way you thought about it. That's the only thing that changed. And I hope people realize that you've got to have fun. Your life is the way it was, right? It's no better, or, well, hopefully it's better now that you're on Thrive, right? But it's no worse. And if you go into every day like, look, I may not be moving at the pace I wanted to, but I'm definitely moving somewhere, because all I know is before I started this, I was waiting tables and bartending. I mean, that was my life, the everyday grind of getting up and going to work. And you were a teacher and that was your life. You know what I mean? And that was what it was going to look like, right? When you were, the day you retired, that's what it was going to look like. And now we're part of something that who knows what it will look like in 5 years. Like, there's hope, there is possibly something new that's going to come into your life in the future. And even if that's just new friends, and even if it's just new products, and just the being able to get up. And I can't believe how many people on my team have been so grateful to just have a team during this COVID thing. People have been like, and I thought about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have been so lonely. Like, I don't have a ton of friends, like I was working so much that, you stop making friends when you get older for some reason. And Lavelle opens up to, wow, I have all these people that care about me, and they don't even know me and I've never met them. And we all get on Zooms and support each other. And it's just such an amazing thing. And I think that people totally forget about that. And it's when you lose that fun part that you're really going to get in your head. And I love when you said it's not rocket science really. It's the simplicity of making sure that you're being consistent. Like it's not that we're all doing different things. Even something as simple as 5 4 3 2 1, really that's what you need to do to grow your business every day. But if you want to go faster, then do 20 10, 6 4
Yeah, you gotta do
whatever.
more. You gotta do more.
Right.
You gotta do the hard stuff, guys. Hard for me was when I had to pick and choose. I'm so doggone sick today, but I need to go to school and teach because I need that leave for my son because he's gonna get sick at some point. That's hard. Getting up and reaching out to people is not hard. Getting up and 10xing my 5 4 3 2 1, that's not hard. Hard was when I couldn't even decide when I could go to the bathroom because of how strict my day job was. You got to get up and do the stuff that you think is hard. That's the only way to get ahead.
Exactly. I could not end this any better. You have to choose your hard, guys. Everything in life is hard. I want to choose this hard though. I love the hard of having to do this Zoom every Tuesday. Like there's some Tuesdays I'm like, oh dang it. I want to sleep in because for me it's 9 o'clock. I'm like, well, maybe I just want to sleep in today. But you know what? Every time I get on here, I'm like, thank God I did. Like this just made my week so much better. And it's we don't all want to do all the things all the time. Like there's not a 200K in this company that's like, yep, I want to do that today. I don't love to follow up. I don't love that, I've got to add 5 new people today to my social media. I don't love that. Like maybe I just don't want to. But at the end of the day, I choose that hard every day of the week over the hard of working 70 hours a week. So, you know what I mean? For somebody else, it's just you choose your heart, and I couldn't have said it better. And you guys, we did just get paid a minute ago. And I always say Tuesdays is just one of those days where every week it reminds me of how grateful I am to be part of Lavelle, not just because of payday. I mean, that's amazing, but also to get paid back every week on this Zoom because I am so grateful. And I know everyone else is on here, Ashley, that you came on today and shared your story and your tips because it's so important to hear from other people and know that we're not alone on this journey. We're not the only ones that hit these things, and you'll get past them just like Ashley has, just like I have, just like every single person that I've ever interviewed. You guys have heard their stories and the things they've hit. And every one thing that remains true every week is that every single person got past those things somehow, as long as they kept going. As long, it might have lasted a while, it might have felt horrible, it might have felt like it was never going to end, but every single one of the people that I brought on here to interview have said the same thing. They moved past it. They went to the next place. They got their 200K back, or they got the next bonus, or they brought in a new leg that replaced the old leg that left, or they were red legged, but now now that red leg was the biggest blessing in their business. You guys have heard it over and over again. I hope you guys take note that we're all different, right? The story's different, but we're all going the same place if we just push through and push through the same things that are happening to you have happened to us, or we're going through right now. We all go through them. So I just appreciate you so much, Ashley. And I know you're not even on my team, not upline, downline, anywhere. I just appreciate you coming on and sharing with everybody your heart. And I know that somebody was on today that needed to hear exactly what you had to say. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Everybody, as usual, this was recorded, so we'll get the recording out as soon as Danny gets it downloaded. We'll post it in the groups. And don't forget, we have this call every week, same time, same place, same link. So if you guys are like, what link? Every week, just copy this link, and this is the one you're gonna click on and send out and give to your new people. It's amazing to me how this call has grown so much. we started with about 30, 40 people every week, and that grew to 100. Then it grew to sometimes 300 now. So it's just a blessing that so many people come on here and share and just help us every single week. It's kind of like my little self development call that I love, that I do for myself every week. I think I'd still do this if I was the only one that got on, because it is that powerful for me. So I hope it's helped some of you like it has me. We'll be back here next week with a new guest, a new 200K. I've got the schedule booked through the end of November right now with awesome 200Ks. So don't forget to tune in. And thank you guys for tuning in and for plugging into yourself, like for pouring into your own goals and dreams and for showing up on here every week. Kudos to you. I appreciate, adore, and love you all. And we will see you guys next Tuesday. Happy payday. Thanks again, Ashley.